Welcome back to Mitiga Minutes. Today we're talking about forensic data readiness. Now, validating and measuring your data readiness is all about ensuring your logs are optimized at a very granular level. And optimized logs are only important if you want to, be able to detect threats and investigate them. So we care about readiness in AWS, Azure, GCP, and all number of sources. And for organizations, there may be cases where you have multiple organizations within Mitiga. And this could be a result of acquisitions, or perhaps in larger companies, we've seen where you can actually operate with multiple business units set up with their own billing entities. So let's go through some of these dashboards. You've got your overall readiness score. In this case, it's 5.3 out of 10. Now, of course, you want to see this trending upward, but right now, this is a medium score. It's not the worst, not the best. Now your readiness level distribution is per account. So we see that we have a few highs, 2 mediums, and 1 low. Now one of my favorite areas is response readiness to known attacks. How would we fare against cloud ransomware, Kubernetes attacks, malicious insiders, and so forth? Now we take your readiness and we map it against the MITRE ATT&CK Cloud Matrix. And this is really neat because you can look at initial access, execution, persistence. And if we look at the Cloud Matrix, we see initial access, execution, persistence, privilege escalation, and all the rest. Everything in this Cloud Matrix is mapped against your login profile to show you how ready you are to address these attacks. And then finally, we've got log configuration readiness across CloudTrail, VPC, DNS, S3 object level, and EKS. Now there could be a lot more, but this is what's being pulled in for this specific entity. And just as a reminder again, we're just looking at AWS for this example. Now let's switch gears and look at accounts. And you can have different accounts depending on how your organization is divided up. You might have production, you might have development. It's all going to depend on the architecture and organizational structure. So let's now drill down into platform prod, or your production platform essentially. And we'll pull up the details and see what looks good, what looks bad. Well, we see a bunch of mediums. There's a lot of yellow there. But we also see some red for DNS logs and EKS. Let's take a closer look at that. So if you recall from other videos where we've talked about the EKS control plane, that's Amazon's Elastic Kubernetes service. And I've covered this in quite a bit of detail in other videos. But if we look at what's being allowed and what's not allowed here, one thing is the authenticator logs are turned off. Now, authenticator logs are for Kubernetes role-based access control authentication. These logs are necessary for tracking who's attempting to log into the cluster, and it correlates these entities to Kubernetes groups and users. Now, when combined with audit logs, you can actually successfully identify compromised identity and access management entities. And we know that any form of identity compromise in the cloud can have a catastrophic and far-reaching impact across cloud, identity, and SaaS. So now let's pivot to DNS. As we can see, DNS is red here. It doesn't look like we're doing anything because we're not. We're simply not logging it. Now, having DNS logging enabled is particularly useful for identifying command and control communication, cryptomining, and Tor network communication, just as a few examples. Without it, you're pretty much flying blind. So once again, as we wrap up here, the whole point of forensic data readiness within Mitiga is about validating and measuring your logging profile across all of your sources at a detailed level, so you know what you are capable of detecting and investigating based on your setup. Now, Mitiga helps you visualize this, track it to MITRE, and optimize. For more information, check out mitiga.io and request a demo.